quietly, trying to avoid eye contact around the Thanksgiving table. My mother's disapproving stare could cut through steel, especially when the topic of my career came up. "Speaking of passing things," she began, her voice dripping with disappointment, "Jessica from church told me her daughter just made senior VP at Goldman Sachs. Remember when you interned there, Sarah? Before you decided to work in, what do you call it now?" "IT support, Mom. I work in IT support at TechCore Solutions." I didn't mention that TechCore Solutions was actually one of my shell companies, or that my real office was in the penthouse of Manhattan's most expensive office building. My father looked up from his turkey, his expression a mixture of confusion and disappointment. "I still don't understand why you left investment banking. You had such potential. Now you're just fixing computers." If they only knew that while they thought I was resetting passwords and troubleshooting printers, I was actually building Nova Technologies, one of the most powerful tech conglomerates in the world. My little IT support job was the perfect cover for my real work, acquiring and transforming struggling tech companies into profitable powerhouses. "How much does tech support even pay these days?" My brother Mark smirked from across the table. As the CFO of our father's company, Meridian Systems, he never missed a chance to flaunt his success. "Can't be much, considering you still live in that tiny apartment." That tiny apartment was actually a dummy address. My real home was a triple penthouse overlooking Central Park, but they didn't need to know that. Just like they didn't need to know that I'd spent the morning finalizing the paperwork to acquire Meridian Systems. "I manage," I replied, thinking about the acquisition documents sitting in my briefcase upstairs. Tomorrow morning their world would change dramatically. "Sarah, honey," Mom started again, her voice taking on that familiar pleading tone, "your father could still find you a position at Meridian. Something more suitable for someone with your education." I suppressed a smile, remembering the meeting I'd had yesterday with Meridian's board of directors, though they hadn't known it was me. They'd only known the CEO of Nova Technologies, appearing via video conference with a digitally altered voice and hidden face. "Actually," Mark added, straightening his designer tie, "we just closed a major deal. Stock's going to soar." "Not that you'd understand market dynamics anymore, little sister." I did understand market dynamics. I understood them well enough to know that Meridian's stock was about to plummet, thanks to some strategic moves I'd orchestrated over the past 6 months. The major deal Mark was so proud of? I'd made sure it would fall through spectacularly. "How's Dad's company doing?" I asked innocently, picking at my turkey. "I heard there were some issues with the new software launch." Mark's smile faltered slightly. "Just minor setbacks. Nothing we can't handle." Those minor setbacks were carefully planned glitches I'd arranged through one of my subsidiary companies. Every technical failure, every lost contract, every drop in stock price had been orchestrated to make Meridian Systems perfect for acquisition. "Well," my mother sighed dramatically, "at least some of our children are successful. Mark, tell everyone about your new beach house." I thought about my private island in the Caribbean, purchased last month through one of my holding companies. "That's wonderful, Mark. Beachfront property is always a good investment." "As if you would know about investments anymore," he scoffed. "Still have that starter portfolio Dad set up for you?" That starter portfolio had been the seed money for Nova Technologies. I'd turned it into a tech empire worth billions, all while my family thought I was struggling in a low-level IT job. My phone buzzed, a message from my COO. "Final acquisition papers ready. Meridian's board meets at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Everything in place." "Sorry," I said, checking my phone. "Work emergency. Someone's having printer problems." "On Thanksgiving?" Mom clicked her tongue. "This is exactly why you need a real career, Sarah. No one should have to work tech support on holidays. If they only knew that tomorrow they'd be working for me." Later that evening, in my real office at Nova Technologies, I reviewed the final acquisition documents. The wall of screens before me displayed Meridian Systems' complete financial history, every weakness I'd exploited, every vulnerability I'd created. "Ms. Mitchell." My executive assistant, David, entered with a stack of reports. "The board members have all confirmed for tomorrow's emergency meeting. They still think it's about the failed software launch." I smiled, remembering Mark's dismissive attitude about those minor setbacks. "And the stock price?" Down 30% since we started implementing your strategy 6 months ago. Your brother's major deal falls through in approximately. He checked his watch. 3 hours. Asian markets will react accordingly. I pulled up the security feed from Meridian's offices, watching my father working late, probably trying to salvage what was left of his company's value. He had no idea that every solution he tried had been designed to fail by his IT support daughter. My phone lit up with a text from Mark. Hey sis, sorry about dinner. But seriously, let me know if you need help finding a real job. Meridian's stock just hit another record high. Smiling face with sunglasses. I glanced at the trading terminal showing Meridian's actual stock price, already beginning its planned descent. David, make sure the press release is ready for tomorrow. I wanted to hit the moment I walk into that boardroom. Everything's prepared, he confirmed. Though I still don't understand why you maintained the IT support cover for so long. I walked to the window looking out over the nighttime cityscape. Because people reveal everything to IT support. Every password, every confidential document, every secret project, they all pass through tech support eventually. My family's company never stood a chance. Another text buzzed through my mother this time. Darling, please reconsider your career choices. The Andersons' daughter just made partner at her law firm. Meanwhile, you're wasting your potential on computer problems. If she only knew that while she was pitying my career choices, I'd built Nova Technologies into a tech giant that was about to swallow her precious family company whole. My phone rang. It was Mark. Probably calling to gloat about something else. I put it on speaker. Sarah. His voice was tense. Are you still at work? Just finishing up some printer issues, I replied, watching Meridian's stock price continue its calculated fall on my screens. Everything okay? The Singapore deal. Something's wrong with all our systems. The whole deal collapsed. Dad's calling an emergency board meeting for tomorrow morning. I could hear the panic he was trying to hide. That sounds serious. Need any tech support? This isn't funny, Sarah. This is bigger than resetting passwords. The company could be in real trouble. I'm sure it'll all become clear in the morning, I said, signing the final acquisition papers with a flourish. These things usually do. After hanging up, I turned to David. Make sure my usual IT support outfit is laid out for tomorrow morning. Plain blouse, sensible shoes, the costume I've worn for 5 years while building this empire right under their noses. And after the revelation? He asked. After. I smiled, thinking of the designer suit hanging in my private dressing room. After, I think it's time the CEO of Nova Technologies made a proper appearance. The next morning, I arrived at Meridian Systems dressed in my carefully cultivated IT support persona. Plain black slacks, simple blouse, minimal makeup. The lobby was chaos, with executives rushing around in panic as news of the stock price crash spread. Sarah. Mark nearly collided with me in the hallway. What are you doing here? We have a major crisis. IT emergency, I said mildly. Something about the boardroom presentation system needing to be checked before the meeting? He barely heard me, already rushing off while barking orders into his phone. I smiled, knowing those orders would be meaningless in about 30 minutes. In the boardroom, I pretended to fiddle with the presentation equipment while executives filed in. My father arrived last, looking like he hadn't slept. Mark sat beside him, tie askew, frantically reviewing documents that would soon be worthless. Can we get this system working? My father snapped at me. We need to start the meeting. Just 1 more minute, I replied, pressing the button that would notify my real team to begin. Suddenly, every screen in the room lit up with the Nova Technologies logo. The doors quietly locked, a security feature I'd installed months ago. What's going on? Mark stood up. Sarah, what did you do to the system? Actually, I said, straightening up and removing my fake glasses. I made it work exactly as intended. The screens shifted to display the acquisition announcement. Nova Technologies acquires Meridian Systems in hostile takeover. Nova Technologies? My father whispered. But they're the largest tech conglomerate in the world? I finished for him, walking to the head of the table. The company that's been systematically acquiring tech firms across 3 continents? The mysterious corporation that's been buying up Meridian's stock through shell companies for the past 6 months. Mark was frantically scrolling through his phone. This can't be happening. Novasu's is F.A. Mitchell, I said, taking off my plain blazer to reveal a designer silk blouse underneath. Sarah Jane Mitchell. Your sister. The one who just works in IT support. The room erupted in chaos. Board members were shouting, Mark looked like he might faint, and my father just stared, his world visibly crumbling. While you thought I was fixing printers, I continued, pulling up detailed slides of my strategy, I was learning every weakness in Meridian's system. Every failed project, every security flaw, every strategic mistake. I saw them all from my perfect vantage point in IT support. The software glitches. Mark realized, face pale. The lost contracts. All carefully orchestrated, I confirmed. Did you really think a company's entire system would just accidentally fail right before a major deal? Everything that's happened in the past 6 months was designed to bring us to this moment. My father found his voice. Why go through all this deception? Because you all taught me that appearances matter more than ability. That titles matter more than talent. So I built something bigger than you could imagine, all while you were busy underestimating me. I pressed another button and the screens displayed Nova's full portfolio, hundreds of companies, billions in assets, and now Meridian Systems. The good news is you all get to keep your jobs with some adjustments. Mark, you'll be reporting to my CFO. Dad, you can stay on as a senior advisor. After all. I smiled, sitting down in the CEO's chair. We're still family. Sarah, my father started, I never meant to dismiss my career choices, to mock my job, to spend years telling me I was wasting my potential. I pulled out the final papers. Well, now you work for that wasted potential. All of you do. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Darling, I heard there's some trouble at your father's company. Perhaps now's a good time to consider a career change. I smiled, typing back. Actually, Mom, I just got a promotion. CEO of a major tech corporation. You might have heard of it, Nova Technologies. We just acquired Dad's company. See you at next Thanksgiving. The boardroom remained silent as the full impact of the morning's revelations sank in. I stood now every inch the CEO I'd always been. Now, shall we discuss the future of Meridian Systems?